One of the biggest questions that have been asked by the international media, whether Putin is completely in control, and this is all because of how the Wagner chief and where he could be. Interestingly enough, the papers have also gone ahead and covered what is happening to the Wagner chief, especially the Hindu has in fact said this is what the Hindu has put out in it. The Hindu has said that heavily armed Russian mercenaries withdraw from the southern Russian city of Rostov overnight under a deal that diffused an unprecedented challenge to the authority of President Vladimir Putin and halted his rapid advance on Moscow. Now, this is what they are saying. Lukashenko mediates, is what that is the Belarusian president, who is a key ally of President Putin and who is also said to be the one who's been able to negotiate this deal. And Belarus is a neighbor of Russia, and Russian troops have entered Belarus to go ahead and invade Ukraine. And this is what it is being said. Fighters of the Wagner group returned to their bases in a return for guarantees for their safety and their leader, Yevgeny Prigozhin. It is being said that Yevgeny Prigozhin could move to Belarus as per the agreement mediated by the Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko. The aborted mutiny raises questions about Putin's grip on a country he has ruled with an iron hand for almost 2 decades. So the question over here that is being raised is with regard to whether Putin is in control. Pankaj, that question I think is echoed in the entire international press as well. And probably all of them are looking at the developments as to who had, in very terms, had the courage to go ahead and challenge Putin, especially his authority, when they are in a complete war with Ukraine. So, I mean, this talks about, this brings out Prigozhin, who with his 25,000 mercenaries challenged Putin, and it led to another president to go ahead and negotiate with the head of a 25,000 mercenaries to say, let's have a deal. That itself shows that things are not right when it comes to Putin's control and power.
Well, Varghese, the jury is still out to actually, decide what went wrong and whether Putin is in control or not. And so much so that if you take a look at, I just, chose to bring to notice the headlines of Navbharat Times. So on one hand, we have Egypt, but on the other, right next, we have Putin ka khatra tala and Vidrohi Neta ko jana hoga Belarus. This is how the newspapers are actually, giving prominence to the development in Russia. Indeed, this is something that has actually jolted the collective memory of all those who have been following the Russia-Ukraine war, and also have underlined the very basic do's and don'ts, I would say, as far as wars are concerned. And also, as far as Putin's control is concerned, personally, if you ask me, after following this story for more than 48 hours since it started, I think Putin has, in a way, emerged in control. And the time when the Wagner group decided to march towards Moscow, that was the most challenging time. And the visuals that we are playing as of now is of the Russian forces firing on the Wagner forces. You see the chopper leaves after bombarding this particular area. And it is reported that this is in Voronezh, one of the first cities that was captured by the Wagner forces. And there was one more city that they had taken it under control. But before they could reach Moscow, a deal was struck by Lukashenko, Belarusian president, obviously on the behest of President Putin. Also, in the play were Chechen fighters, and one of the guys called Ramzan Koritov, or I might be, getting his name wrong. He is a Chechen fighter. He was also in cahoots with Putin to give him ground support should the rebels reach the doors of Moscow. Now, many would say that Putin had a loss of face because of this mutiny within his own ranks. But then again, it was a private army. They fight for money. The motivation part is not nationalistic fervor. In that scenario, if you have to manage and maintain a high cost war, then obviously there is some give and take that is going to happen. Now, money, as I already said, is not the issue here. It was about the differences between the Wagner Group and Putin administration, especially the defense ministry, on the way the war was being approached, and also the way Russian government wanted some of the Wagner Group fighters to actually join the mainstream. And an offer was made to which Prigozhin was unhappy with. And he clearly said that this is not going to happen. His men are not going to join ranks, or the government offered job, if I may say so, for in the defense ministry. So that was one of the key sticking point. After that, when we saw the withdrawal from Prigozhin, he said that he does not want any bloodshed. Well, that was a sugar-coated statement. The thing was that Belarus had given them a way out, and the whole Wagner team with 25,000 contingent went back to Belarus, and there is offer on the cards also for both for Prigozhin and for the 25,000 forces. Prigozhin, all the criminal charges has been dropped against him, and as far as 25,000 troops are concerned, they will be offered job, and they can be absorbed into the Russian Defense Ministry, Russian Defense Forces. So that is what is being made. But what we understand as of now here is that the way Russia behaves, there are so many poisoning theories going on. We haven't forgotten about Litvinenko, who was poisoned, and there have been cases last year also where key Russian figures were also found dead in suspicious circumstances. So many would say that what happens to Prigozhin remains to be seen, whether he would be neutralized, whether he would be, made. Not his importance would be minimized. That way he could face some blowback. But as far as this war against Ukraine is concerned, that is happening at a different frontier, and this particular aspect, which is pretty domestic to Putin, he has managed to handle it well, has doused the fire as of now. Whether it jumps back again, that remains to be seen. But before that, I think Prigozhin, his army would, in a way, be put under control. And if the government could exercise more command on it, then I think Putin can have a sigh of relief in the days to come.